Hello and welcome to lesson number 2 on instrumentation, timbre and dynamics. In this lesson we're going to go through the electric guitar and then the acoustic guitar. Now for the electric guitar, because it's all processed electronically, I want to go through how it's all made up and how it works. So the way it works is it all needs to be plugged in, of course, it is electric. And then what happens is as the strings down here are played, they vibrate and they're picked up by these here, which are, when it's plugged in, electrically charged magnets. They're called pickups because they pick up the vibration and send it through. It's connected by a lead, which goes up and is plugged into the amplifier. And then that electronic signal is processed through all these controls before it comes out of the speaker. So, as the electrical signal goes through all those processes, it can also, before it even gets to the amp, be processed through some effects pedals. And this picture, you can see just a very, very small collection of all of the effects that are available out there. And we're going to listen to some examples. We're going to listen to overdrive, which is used a lot in loads of Queen tracks. And then we've got flanger, and then wah-wah. Now, overdrive is an effect, it's an effect pedal, but when it first came about, it was from very low wattage amps that would be charged with more electricity and overdriven in order to distort the sound a little bit. So it wasn't clean anymore, it was slightly distorted. Hence overdrive, it was overdriven. We're going to listen to a riff being played without overdrive, then with. Now we're going to listen to flanger, not just a fun word to say, but also an effect. Again, we're going to listen to a riff being played without the effect, then with. Now that timbre, if you're describing that kind of a timbre, there are loads of different words to use in order to describe it. I quite like using an onomatopoeia of like a whoosh. It's a whooshing sound, like you can imagine a car driving past at high speed, coming and leaving, or like a jet engine taking off. And now we're going to listen to wah-wah, which is usually used in funk music or pop music, which is trying to get quite a funky kind of sound. Again, we're going to listen to it without the effect, then with. So when describing these timbres, it's best to try and identify the effect. Overdrive, flanger, wah-wah. If you can't remember the effect, then try to describe it in your own words as best as you can. Now we're going to look at acoustic guitar. Now, in Western music, most of the time, all 6 strings of the acoustic guitar are metallic, and they could be made out of different kinds of metals, different thicknesses, in order to give different pitch, and different metals in order to give different timbres. But then in more Latin music, the 3 highest pitch strings, I call them the lowest strings because they're the closest to the ground. When you're actually holding the acoustic guitar about to play, those 3 strings are made out of nylon, because that gives it a much softer timbre, because those top 3 strings are usually used for playing the melody, whilst the bottom 3 strings give a deeper accompaniment, and both parts are usually played on the one guitar in that style of music. So, depending on the strings, they can give a different timbre. But here are the two most common methods of playing acoustic guitar. We've got strumming, which can be done either just with the fingers or with a plectrum, also known as a pick. Um, and we're going to listen to this example, Oasis Wonderwall. So we can also look at these two different styles of playing in terms of texture as well. Strumming is like block chords, all the notes ringing out at the same time with the same rhythm, each individual note. Finger picking, on the other hand, is broken chords, where individual notes of the chord are played at different times. And for this example, we're going to listen to Never Going Back Again by Fleetwood Mac.
She broke down and let me in. Made me see.
So, they are the timbres of the electric guitar and the acoustic guitar. The last thing I need to say about the acoustic guitar is you can see it's a very different setup. The what's known as the body of the acoustic guitar is hollow. It's made of wood, and here we have the acoustic hole where the vibrations from the strings goes inside, reverberates around inside the body of the acoustic guitar, and then comes back out slightly amplified. And the reason for this section here is because if you're using a plectrum, a lot of the time when you strum down, you strike the body, and this is to protect the body, really. It's nothing to do with timbre. And in some styles of music, such as if you listen to Rodrigo y Gabriela when I was talking about triplets back in the rhythm course, you'll notice that one of them actually plays the body of the acoustic guitar acoustically and mutes the strings and plays them in order to give more of a percussive effect, using it more as a drum kit rather than a guitar. So, they are the electric guitar and the acoustic guitar. We checked out the different timbres, different styles of playing, and that gives you a little bit of background into the timbres of guitar. Next, we're going to look at the bass guitar, my personal favorite. I will see you there.